Hi guys, Rachel from Carework here to do a quick analysis of the 2022 home care hiring metrics now that we are almost halfway through the year. There are a couple of trends I really want to bring your attention to with some actionable feedback to make sure you're staying at the top of the trend chart. Now the trend chart I'm looking at is measuring home care hiring conversions. So how many applicants book an interview? How many booked interviews show up? How many of the show-ups complete the hiring process? We're looking at that pipeline across the country all the time, only in the home care and home health market for caregivers, so that you can see what this data is looking like across the country and pinpoint where in your hiring pipeline you might need to focus some time and energy to improve. So what we're seeing right now, we are almost halfway through 2022, and we are seeing that the overall conversion of applicants to hires is dropping a little bit. Now, this is nowhere near as volatile as what we saw last year in 2021, okay? 2021, that number was really up and down. This is a much more steady but gradual decline. And so where we are seeing that in the hiring pipeline, we are seeing more applicants book interviews, but fewer of those applicants are completing the interview process and completing the hiring process. So if you are one of the agencies out there that is falling into this national trend where you are not getting people from the booked interview all the way through to the hire, here's a couple things you can do to help that. Number one, do a quick review of your wages. This does not have to be fancy, but go on Indeed in the incognito tab of your browser where it's not going to show you what it thinks you want to see because it doesn't know who you are. And go on Indeed and look at other jobs from the same hiring market. Look at home care jobs, caregiving jobs, look at retail jobs, look at fast food jobs, and see if your wages have kept pace with the wages in your area from these other hiring opportunities. And then I want you to look at how long it takes you to get from an application to a hire, to a first shift. So if the caregiver applies with you, they've probably applied to a lot of other places at the same time. And a lot of people are stressed by this. I've heard this from agency owners, like, oh, it's just a race now. If you don't call them first, they're gonna get 30 other calls. Well, yes, that's true. The hiring market is very competitive and your speed in getting to that applicant is important. But it's not just a matter of getting them on the phone, because remember, we're seeing the trend go up in the number of applicants booking interviews. That means they're getting on the phone, they're actually scheduling an interview time with you. What we're seeing go down is the trend from getting them from that booked interview to actually showing up to the interview and completing the hiring process. So that's where I want you to focus your speed right now, is not only getting them on the phone and booking the interview, but making sure that interview is booked within 1 to 2 days, hopefully, of the time that you talk to them. And then making sure from there, you are getting them through the process as quickly as possible. One thing that we've seen people do with a lot of success is schedule straight to orientation. When you do the phone screen with them, rather than scheduling them for another interview, and then at that interview, scheduling them for orientation, schedule them straight to orientation. Let them know that you are planning on hiring them, assuming they pass all the qualifications at orientation. Start orientation with a quick interview. Allow them to finish any extra application steps you need, like an online application or something like that. Let them do that at the time. Go all the way through orientation, and in best case scenario, they leave with a schedule. So because this is one of the biggest challenges we're seeing in the home care market right now, I want to encourage you to really focus on that in 2022. That's where agencies are struggling, getting them from, yes, they picked up the phone and scheduled an interview, to they're actually working. And one of the best things you can do, or two of the best things you can do, is check your local wages by actually doing a search yourself, and then look at your time from application to first shift and see how you can shorten that. Good luck out there.